Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my March wrap-up. So in the month of March, I managed to read a total of 16 books, which I'm pretty happy with. That is mainly down to audiobooks. My reading has definitely slowed down. I am struggling to find the time to read like physical books. I'm not getting through the physical books that I'm reading like anywhere near as quickly as I usually would. But to jump into my statistics for the month, so I read 16 books, as I said. That was made up of 14 novels, 1 novella, and 1 novella bind-up. Of the 14 books, 6 were in physical format. I listened to 6 audiobooks this month, and I read 3 ebooks. Now, taking out audiobooks, as always, with the remainder of the 10 books that I read this month, 8 were books that I owned and 2 were from the library. So that statistic I'm pretty happy with, in terms of that I'm reading more books that I own, like myself, rather than from the library. But at the same time, that means that I'm really not getting through my library books that I do have out, because my library stack at the moment is pretty high. I read a total of 6,159 pages in the month of March, which averaged out to 199 pages per day, which is just below 200, which is kind of like where I'm trying to average out for the year. So I'm pretty happy with that. The longest book I read in the month of March was 664 pages, and the shortest book I read was 152 pages. The highest star rating I gave was a 4.5 stars. So I still haven't rated a single book 5 stars yet so far in 2017, which is a little bit sad. And the lowest star rating I gave was a 2 star this month. So my average star rating for the month is 3.27. So that's almost a whole half a star lower than where I was at last month, which is a little bit disappointing. So I would like to read. I gave a lot of 3.5. I feel like 3.5 just generally has kind of been like my rating, like on average, like for the whole year so far. So I would really like to kind of bring that up and read some better quality books, I guess, that I enjoy a little bit more. So as always, I filmed a mid-month wrap-up where I talked about the first 9 books that I read in the first half of March. So in this video, I will be talking about the last 7 books that I read. If you would like to check out my March mid-month wrap-up, I will link that in the cards for you guys. But let's jump straight in now and talk about the 7 books that I read in the second half of the month. The first book I'm going to talk about was Someday Maybe by Lauren Graham. This is a book that I listened to on audio, and the book is written by Lauren Graham, who is the actress who plays Lorelai in Gilmore Girls. The audiobook is also narrated by Lauren Graham herself, which I really enjoyed. I just really enjoy when an author does their own audiobook narration, because I feel like they know how they want the book to sound because they wrote it. So I think that works really well, and I just in general really liked the way that she narrated it. Like I thought it was really well done. I actually really enjoyed the main character. I thought she was a lot of fun, and just like really like, you know, she was just a lot of fun to hear from. This is just a chick lit kind of story about a girl living in New York City who is trying to become an actress. That's basically what the book is about. And I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed the character and the narration and all of those things, and it was just generally really enjoyable. In the end, I gave this 3.5 stars. Next, I read Frenchmans Creek by Daphne du Maurier. This is the third novel from Daphne du Maurier that I have read. I have read some of her other short story collections, and I would say this is probably my least favorite of the du Maurier that I've read so far. This one for me was just a little bit slow to get going, and it was definitely slow and like a little bit boring actually in parts. I did still enjoy it overall, but I feel like the main problem with it that I had was that it lacked some of it. It just basically lacked that real gothic, mysterious feel that her other books that I've read have had, and this one just didn't really have that. This one is about a woman who travels from London to like their country home. I can't remember exactly where it is, and she's living in like travels from her husband, so it's just her and her 2 young children who travel to their like country estate, and she discovers basically that there's this French pirate who had been staying in the house and like has his like secret pirate ship like ported nearby, and like she has some kind of like interactions with this like French pirate, and that's basically like what it's about. I will say one thing it really does have going for it is I do feel like for its time it is quite a feminist type of novel. The main character in this really doesn't want to be tied down by the fact that she's married and that she has children. She wants to be able to go on adventures, and like the pirate does, she wants to be able to have that really adventurous lifestyle, and she doesn't think that just because she's a woman she should be tied down to living the type of life that just means that she has to get married and have kids, even though she is married and has kids. So I did. And she's not your typical, she's got kids, but she's not really got that typical motherly instinct. So I did think that in that way it was really good, but like I say, it just lacked that kind of real gothic feel that I've come to expect from Du Maurier, so it wasn't my favorite. In the end, I gave this one 3.5 stars. The next book that I completed was another audiobook, and that was The Divorce Papers by Susan Reiger. So this is one that I just picked up kind of on a whim because all of my holds like hadn't come in and I wanted to start listening to something else, and so this was in the available now section. This is again a kind of like drama chick lit story that it's an epistolary novel, so it's written in legal documents and emails and letters and things like that. This follows a girl, Sophie, who is a lawyer, and she's a criminal lawyer at her firm, but she, through circumstances, gets roped into helping act in this divorce matter between this couple who are having kind of a contentious divorce, and that's what it's about. And it is told through like all the memos like at the firm, and it's set in the late 90s, in like 98, 99, I believe. So it's all through like memos and email and letters and things like that. And from what I gathered from other reviews of this on Goodreads when I finished it, one of the main problems that people had with it was that epistolary fashion, that it was like just got really bogged down in all the like legal document crap. I feel like because I listened to this on audio, I didn't have that problem because all of the documents were just being read to me and I didn't notice, like it didn't bog it down for me. I actually quite enjoyed it, and I liked the main character as well. Just generally, I just thought it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was just an enjoyable kind of chick lit novel that I enjoyed. So in the end, I gave this one 3.5 stars. The next book that I completed was The Bane Chronicles by Cassandra Clare. You'll know if you've been watching my channel that I recently completed the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices series. I wanted to pick up The Bane Chronicles and read this now that I finished those series, and I really, really love Magnus Bane, so I was really excited to pick this up. So I did rate each story individually, so I'll go through my ratings individually. We had What Happened in Peru, which I gave 2.5 stars. The Runaway Queen, which I gave 3.25 stars. Vampires, Scones, and Edmund Herondale, I gave 3.5 stars. The Midnight Air, I gave 3.75 stars. I will say with that one, I really enjoyed it, but it felt incomplete. Like, we didn't really get like a resolution to what happened in that short story, and that frustrated me a little bit. The Rise of the Hotel de Mort, I gave 3.5 stars. Saving Rafael Santiago, I gave 3.5 stars. The Fall of the Hotel de Mort, I gave 4 stars. What to Buy the Shadow Hunter Who Has Everything and Who You're Not Officially Dating Anyway, I gave 4.5 stars. That was by far my favorite short story in the collection. The Last Stand of the New York Institute, I gave 3.5 stars. The Course of True Love and First Dates, I gave 4.25 stars, and The Voicemail of Magnus Bane, I gave 3.5 stars. So my average star rating overall averaged out to 3.61 stars, which I'm saying is a 3.5 star. So I did really enjoy this. Like I say, there were I felt like it was slow to get going. Like my lowest rated story was the first one, What Happened in Peru. I found that one like just a bit boring, and I was thinking, oh no, like is this just going to be like really boring stories? But it did pick up and I did start to really enjoy it, and particularly once we got to Magnus Bane interacting with characters that I know and I have enjoyed from the series and things like that, I did really, really enjoy this. So yeah, as I said, I gave this one 3.5 stars. Next, we have the final audiobook that I listened to in the month of March, and that was Now You See Her by James Patterson. Again, this was just a random selection from the Available Now section on my Overdrive app. This is a mystery thriller about a woman who is living in New York, but she has changed her name and such because she was previously living in Florida, and she was involved in this accident. And basically she hits a man with her car when she's drunk. This is all right at the start, and a cop helps her cover up that she did this, and because it was a bad guy that she killed with her car, and she ends up marrying the cop but then it turns out that the cop is corrupt, and so she escapes from the cop, and she's like in New York with a different name, when it turns out that she's got to like go back to Florida to like help solve this whole not solve, but like help basically there's like a serial killer as well, and she was attacked by the serial killer when she was escaping, and so she knows that the person who's about to be put to death, is about to, like, he was given the death sentence and is about to die for these crimes, she knows didn't do it because he's not the man who attacked her, and she's a lawyer now in New York under this fake name, and so she goes back to like help get this man not be like put to death. I really didn't like this book. I will say I thought the audiobook was shit. I am not real fussy on my audiobooks. I hear other people talk about, oh, the narration, blah, blah, blah. I've never really listened to an audiobook and been like, I don't think this was a good, like, audiobook. I have listened to some that I thought were better than others, but in general, I'm not fussy about it. But this one was, like, not very good. Not in terms of the actual narration, but it had, like, random music that it would be put in, like, every now and again when something suspenseful would happen. They would have this really, like, shitty B-grade suspenseful music come on, but just in, like, random spots, like, it just was not well done. There was a couple of other places where there were music, and it was just really, really crappy, and I didn't like the story overall. I thought the main character was a complete idiot. She just did things, like, even the situation that she's in from the start, I was just like, why are you in this situation? Like, this like shouldn't happen to you, because you shouldn't have ever made this decision. Like, you're so, she just was so annoying. And then I didn't like the way that it ended. I thought that, like, how they wrapped up the characters at the end, there was absolutely no character growth. Like, it was just completely ridiculous. And you have to, like, suspend all belief, like, when you're reading this as well, because everything that happens, you're just like, how would this happen? Like, she is a lawyer in New York under a completely, like, faked identity that she's, like, managed to go to law school and, like, pass the bar, but, like, she has moved there under, like, a fake name. I just didn't believe any of that, and it was just, you really had to suspend your belief system. As I said, I didn't enjoy it. I gave this one 2 stars. Next, I read Devils Brew by Felicity Pullman. This is the 5th book in the Bane Chronicles. This is the 5th book in a 6-book series. This is the second last book. It's enjoyable, this one. We get a kind of a resolution of the love triangle in this. Like, the main character's kind of like picks her path in this one in the love triangle, which was good. We are also finally starting to get some overall development of, like, the overall series plot, which is good, because I have felt like to this point it's been really drawn out. But for me, it's kind of at that point where it's a little bit too late. Like, I'm starting to get really over the series. I am going to finish it because there's only 1 book to go, but I just, like, I feel like it's all been really drawn out and just taken too long to kind of get to the point, if you know what I mean. I did, like, still enjoy this because, like, I want to know what happened, so, and I'm, like invested to a certain degree, so I did still give this 3 stars. It wasn't bad, but I am getting kind of over the series as a whole. And the final book that I completed in the month of March was Left for Dead by Deborah Rogers. This is the novella that I read. This is only 152 pages, and it is classified as a novella. I won this in a giveaway on Goodreads, so I wanted to read this as soon as possible so that I could do a review for this, which I haven't done yet, but I will. This is a story about a woman who has been a lawyer in, like, corporate New York, and she decides that she wants to get away from that life, and she decides to take, like, 3 or 4 months, like, she quits her job and she decides to take 3 or 4 months to hike the California Coastal Trail. When she is, like, literally, this is, like, right at the start, she is about to, like, start her hike. Like, she literally is, like, there, and she goes to, like, use the bathroom because she's like, this is going to be my last chance to use, like, you know, nice, well, not even probably nice, but, like, use facilities, like, proper facilities. So she uses that, and there's this, like, man in the car park who asks her to help him or whatever because he's, like, got a flat tire or whatever, and then he, like, basically, like, knocks her out with, like, chloroform and, like, puts her in the boot of his car and kidnaps her. And then that's basically what this story is about. I thought this was alright. It actually has some, like, pretty, like, feminist comments, like, right at the start. Let me see if I can find it. Like, they do this. offer advice, men. I must give off an air of helplessness or something. They think I can't take care of myself, but I can. Like, I really like, there was a few comments in there and things like that I like, that's literally on page 1. So I did enjoy like that kind of part of it. But overall, I just felt like this was a little bit over the top, if you know what I mean. Like everything like that happened, it was just like one of those stories where like something would happen and then something else would happen and then something else would happen and you started to be like, wow, she like really can't catch a break, if you know what I mean. So also the end of this, I think is what really made it feel generally over the top. If something happens at the end of this, which I won't tell because I don't want to spoil it, but it was kind of almost like cliche, and I was just like, really, like, is like that's where we're going? And then the overall like kind of ending, like the part like kind of after all of the events, I really didn't like, because I felt like it undermined all the theme and message that we were originally getting out of the first part. So I really didn't like that either. Overall, though, I will say that this was really enjoyable. I thought the writing was pretty good, and I appreciated what the author was trying to do. So in the end, I gave this 3.5 stars. So those are all of the books that I managed to complete in the month of March. If you've read any of these books, if you have any thoughts, I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below. Please do also let me know how your March reading month was. As I say, things are really have just been, I've been so busy. I mean, I'm in the middle of 2 books at the moment, one on audio and a physical book. But on average, at the moment, it's taking me like 5 to 6 days to get through a physical book, which is like, that's a lot for me. I normally finish a book like every like 2 to 3 days. So the fact that it's taking me like just under a week to get through most books, that is really like, it's slowing me down. And I'm reading a classic at the moment, which is slow going. So anyway, I would love to chat with you guys about how your month is going. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. But that's all I've got for this video today. Bye guys.